Dom Schuster was the best player on the team. He's like this 5'10" cutter who just had this amazing air bounce backhand. And I remember watching that when I was like 14 or whatever and being like, that's so cool. Like he can just make the disc sit there. Like I want to be able to just make the disc. Like I want to make it as easy as possible for my receiver to catch it whenever I throw it. And I think that's just been like my main focus as a thrower in like the short space, the small box, the 10-yard box.
You did have intentionality behind developing that throw.
Yeah, I would like go into because I threw it like to a tree in the backyard all the time in high school. And I would do two different things. I would like, try to hit the tree one, and then I would always try to make a throw like end at the tree, if that makes sense. Like it's not going forward anymore, but it's like a totally catchable sort of like around floaty throw that just sort of like plops right down where the tree is.
Yeah, working on the touch.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah. And that's something I started doing when I was really young.
That's a great tip for any of our young
honestly,
listeners.
That's a good throwing drill that people don't talk to about, but just trying to get it to go a distance.
Well, yeah, you just want it to like, and it's only a small box. Hucking, you always do it because you're just throwing, to a spot. Yeah. But when you're throwing in that 10-yard box, so many people just try to like throw through the person or just like to their chest really hard. But I think like if you're going to be breaking the mark in like any sort of nuanced way, you've got to be able to like really have it sit there and go to like that tiny area that 100%. Only your receiver can catch it.
You had two really nice ones, one around, one inside against us at Nationals. It was your guys' first break, the second point, that around to Bansfield, which was super nice. But the one that I watched a bunch and I was like, wow, I kind of want to try this, was you guys were like probably 10 yards outside the end zone. You were on the sideline and you just kind of sat in your backhand pivot until I think Abe cut across field and you threw like this like upright air bounce. Like you got your hand to the ground, but you were so upright and you just air bounced it inside to Abe, and then Pavel scored the next throw. And I sat there and watched that throw, and I've actually been trying to throw that when I've been just practicing, just because I saw you throw that. I was like, that was sick. Like I want to do that.
I feel like I saw that throw come out at Summit tryouts.
Oh yeah, I try it now.
No, it's powerful. I'm actually the air bounce backhand. Yeah. Don't let anyone tell you you shouldn't throw air bounces, because
I love it. I air bounce my around like almost every time.
Oh yeah, that is a classic coach thing. Frisbee coach, don't use an air bounce. I don't know why.
No, I think the problem is you don't want their backhand to become
an air bounce
as a default. Yeah,
I never had then you get the kids throwing the hot.
Yeah, I never had a good backhand, so I started to air bounce it to make it a little bit different, and it helped me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, both of you, Quinn and Joe, use your length pretty well, and Joe, you have extra length. Is that something that you intentionally work? Like you do have the same kind of touch on the around. I think if you on the goal line a lot, probably what's Quinn laughing?
I'm laughing at kids, how upset he is that you didn't include him in this.
Kid, well, you use your length for like high release stuff. These guys, Joe especially, uses footwork to extend around marks. We've talked about this, Kins. You need to work on this.
True. This is
slander.
I can't take this fucking disrespect on my name. The dirt that's being thrown on my name this pod is unbelievable. To talk about length and not put me in that sentence.
You don't use your length well enough. You use only in the vertical planes. You do not use your length well enough in the horizontal planes.
True.
Disagree, but go on.
Let our guests speak. Joe, is this you're so good at it. Is this something that you were taught, just worked on naturally? Like I watch so many young throwers and you'd think that they would figure this out, but maybe we just need to teach it more explicitly.
It was also something that I had a teammate my first year playing YCC who was like, just try to throw as far away from your body as you can. And I was like, oh, that's like a cool thing to try. And I think that's where it started, I guess. It was like, and then realizing that it had a practical application where if I did that, like you wouldn't be able to block it if I'm trying to throw a break throw. But my forehand didn't used to be. I didn't used to have it. It was always only my backhand. But since then, I've gotten better at throwing the forehand further out, especially on rounds.
What you said rings a bell with what Kins was mentioning on a different pod about when you're throwing to just try things and then you can find a way to use them. Did I lose you, Kins? Are you still upset, man?
Yes.
Sorry, dude.
I'm fuming over here, and I'm just gonna sit back and listen.